I know certain friends who aren't coming to the wedding, or not a hen do, because of social anxiety. But there has been times where it's been too much and I couldn't even leave the house.
I don't want to waste money now because we've got a baby on the way. Getting married, I'm thinking, what's the point? Biggest judgment that you face in life is judgment of yourself. Next week,
the wedding stuff.
We will be Mr. and Mrs. for proper.
Yes, we are back, Danny and Sophie, Malin, nearly, for our mental health gym session this week. So as we are in the build up to our wedding, we want to talk about social anxiety, because we know so many of you suffer from social anxiety, or you've had periods in your life when you do. I know certain friends who aren't coming to the wedding, or not a hen do, because of social anxiety, which I totally accept. Sometimes you have to push yourself out your comfort zone, but sometimes it is just too much.
It is, and it is. I've had situations when I've been down and I've had issues going on, and the same recently as well, to be honest. I've had a few difficulties at home with my kids and change and all this, and I've just not wanted to do anything. I've not wanted to, and it puts a bit of stress, and it's like, I think what you've got to remember is when, like, your friends and your family, they'll say to you, oh, we've got a barbecue going on, there's a party, there's a wedding, there's a birthday, there's this, there's that, the other. Sometimes it can be very difficult for people just to get motivated.
Definitely. And I think, especially when you're an entertainer, or you're a leader, or you're in the public eye in some capacity,
there's an expectation as well, isn't there?
Definitely, that you're going to be the life and the soul of the party, that you're going to be the chatty one, and whilst it's lovely that people see that of you, often that's not the real you. So no. I gave a talk at Yorkshire Businesswoman event this week, and people are like, oh, how can you broadcast to millions, or go live on the news, or do all these documentaries? But actually, for me, stood in front of like 100 real humans that I could see, I was more nervous about going up to individuals and chatting to them. Luckily, after the talk, people came up to me. But you'd never realise, because I put on a bit of a like, oh, hi. And even inside, when I'm nervous, I'll still do that. But I now know to push myself out of my comfort zone. But there has been times where it's been too much and I couldn't even leave the house.
Yeah, it's. I've had it with myself, and I've had it with friends as well. And I've even had it, do you know what? It even affects your kids as well. I think it's one of those things like social anxiety. And it's like, especially with kids now as well, they go to school, and obviously parents are struggling these days to pay for basic things. Sometimes just basic school uniform, shirts can be a bit of an issue. But then when you've got kids that have got designer coats, then after school they're out and somebody's got 20 quid and somebody's got 5 pence. It's difficult, and it becomes socially awkward. So it's, how do you deal with that? And I think, again, it's a key thing for everything to obviously talk to people and let people know how you're feeling and talk about your situations. But when it becomes socially awkward, it is awkward. It's difficult, isn't it?
And I know a lot of my friends who suffer from it. To other people who wouldn't know, they actually probably come across quite rude. I'm the opposite. I kind of mask it and will really go for it and be really loud or really out there, whereas they're the opposite. They'd actually seen people think, oh, she's got a face like a slapped bottom.
Yeah.
And actually I know what they're actually going through. But what I found is it's like one step at a time. So I remember in lockdown, I had a lot of stuff happen and a lot of abuse at my doorstep. And I was scared to go out. I was embarrassed of anyone ever seeing me. So I just had to literally go out on a little tiny run, knowing that I could run not too far and just run straight back.
Yeah.
And those mini little steps where I had to just start going out again, or getting someone who I trusted who could take me out.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes you get that worked up that you need somebody there to back you up, don't you? And I've had that, and it's like, I think, like, for me, from past experience, it's, you know, people's perception of other people's view of life or the way you should be. So, for example, the way you should look, the way you should dress when you're out in public. So, there would have been a time, or there was a time in my life when I thought, oh, I can't go out if I've not got a designer T-shirt on. I've got to look the part. Do you know what I mean? Now, I love these £6 next T-shirts. They fit me like a dream. They wash well. They look good. And some of them, sometimes, they look better than designer ones. But I would have never in a million years, if I look back, what I've been wearing over the last couple of years, I would have never put on. So the rate my takeaway gear that I wear, so it's like yesterday I went out all day and I've had a custard, and I had these T-shirts made for when me and George and Summer went to Orlando last year. And we stayed at Universal Studios. So I had 3 T-shirts made. I had a Harry Potter one. I had a like one with all the Universal characters on, and then I had what was the other one? I think it was like Iron Man and all that kind of stuff. And I would have never worn these kind of things because, you know, I thought to myself, well, the kid stuff. You know what I mean? People will be looking at me funny. But I've slapped Rate My Takeaway logo on it and I love them. And I'm wearing it all day. Yesterday and people are coming up saying, wow, that's a right shirt, that, pal. And I'm thinking to myself, if I didn't have that Rate My Takeaway on it, would people be thinking, what's he wearing? I don't know. Like Avengers and all that kind of stuff.
It's a bit like a safety net, I guess.
Yeah.
Because
but what I'm trying to say is I didn't feel awkward in it. I put it on and it's like, yeah, it's my worktop. It's advertising my business. It's what I'm all about. Me being wacky, weird and wonderful. And I think sometimes that's what you've got to do. Take a step back and think to yourself, why do you want to look like that? Why do you want to be like this? When you're out socially, what does it really matter what people think?
And I think that's what's been so refreshing, meeting one another, because we are both wacky, weird and wonderful in what we wear. And
you are,
like
definitely.
Whenever you've said to me, oh, what do you think of these shoes, Night Ticks with pizzas around them, or your Avengers tops? And I'm like, oh, yeah, brilliant. Because I just think I love people who are being unique.
I'm wearing them out tonight. So I'm going out tonight on my stag do. Well, it's a stag, not a stag. And I'm thinking, and again, do you know what? I had that moment again yesterday. So I went into a designer shop and I got myself a T-shirt only because it was cheap. But I was looking at shoes now. I've not bought no trainers or shoes for about 6 months. And I used to buy them every 2 or 3 weeks. I buy a new pair of trainers or something like that. And it's been really like grinding on me. But I don't want to because I know I don't want to waste money now because we've got a baby on the way. Getting married, I'm thinking, what's the point? And I'm in this shop yesterday and I saw all these shoes and I picked these shoes up. They were like £450 and I thought, nah, I can't buy them. That'd keep baby's room out, that. I can't buy them. So it's thinking logical again. So I'm thinking, so what am I going to wear tonight? And I don't want to wear them because I've worn them last time I went out. So I'm thinking, I'm going to wear my pizza shoes.
Go for
and if
it.
they don't let me in nightclub, they don't let me in. I'm not bothered. It's their loss. They're not going to get my £18 for 1 pint.
Yeah.
But again, it's like with that, I would never have worn out like that. But you know what? But what I wear could make somebody else socially awkward. That's the thing. When you're talking about it, sometimes other people, they'll look at somebody else and they'll go, oh my God, I can't believe they look that good. Or it makes me feel awful now. Or I don't feel like I did before. I mean, how do you feel when you're getting dressed up to go out and you go out and you see other people and you see people in different clothing? How does it make you feel?
Sometimes I'm turning into a proper mum because often I feel really sorry for them because I think, oh, do you have to like do all that to yourself?
Yeah.
Because I think some people and it's sad because I know a lot of like Generation Z and a lot of people that I work with and are friends with, it's all about plastic surgery now and like putting lots of
Dogs
stuff
off.
on and I've been through that whole like phase of way too much makeup, false eyelashes, and I don't judge, but my thing is that I actually think, wow, what a sad world we are in that people feel like they have to have those things to just show their face without a filter. But I'm always stuck in the middle because I'm kind of like, but I'd prefer them to show their face and show their voice, even if they want to be filtered, than them not. But at the same time, I think we've all kind of got this perfect Instagram reality of what we think people look like or act like or
well,
sound like.
Going on that, it's like the situation that we were in when we went to that health spa. And we're in this health spa, and it's quite well known in Harrogate. And people go there, they chill out, but a lot of what I call young Instagrammable models go because they like to take pictures of themselves walking into the pool, and they do little videos. So I was having a look one night, and I was saying, oh, look at this. And I mean, I'm walking about with my belly out because, you know, I've got to a point now where I'm not bothered. And the way that I look at myself now, the way that I look is I am what I am. And I'm lucky enough to be able to be confident enough to show my body, you know, in a pair of shorts. It don't bother me. I know I've got a big belly. I know I've got big man boobs. I've got mirrors in my house. And I use humour and comedy to deflect away from people taking the mick out of me, don't I?
Yeah.
And what I did...
But sometimes I do think on that note, you deflect, and when I'm not ever thinking things, I noticed you did that when we first met, and I was thinking, because to me, you're perfect, and you don't see a loved one like that. I'm not analysing you.
I think it's just people find coping strategies, don't they? And unfortunately, sometimes there are some cruel people in the world. There are people that will pick at you and giggle at you and make comment and pass judgment without even talking to you. Obviously, I get it a lot because of what I do with a job, with eating takeaways. People say, oh, you're fat, you're going to kill yourself and all this. But I do look after myself. I've always been a big lad. And I'm at a weight where, you know, for my size and my age, it's quite healthy, to be honest. It's not as healthy as it could be. I'm not saying, yeah, go out there and get like me. But for what I have been in the past, I'm a lot healthier than what I was. Now, going back to the Instagrammable thing, they were doing all these videos going in, and I had a look on Twitter, and I looked at all these videos, and they were all getting 4 or 5k. I thought, do you know what? I can do this. Why am I not having a go at this? So I says to Sophie, grab phone, and I'm walking down, straight and master the phone over to you, giving it all this with my man boobs. Put it on, 50k. People loved it. Yeah. Because it was just some normal bloke doing what everybody wants to do. Don't be judged. And do you know what I find is, you see people, so you go to Blackpool or Filey or somewhere like that, and people are covering up, and they're a bit, I don't know. But when you get to Benner's, and they've had a few beers, that's it, tops off, they're in pool, they're absolutely blathered, they're like, yeah, I'm never going to see them again, it's all right. But we should be able to feel comfortable in his own skin no matter where we go and what we do. So being socially awkward because other people are making you feel uncomfortable, let's just try and knock it out. 1, let's be kind to people. And 2, when you're out, try not to overthink stuff. Try not to overthink because, you know, somebody else, they might look the way they do because they feel socially awkward, because they've pumped themselves full of all this face filler and they've put all this makeup on. They've got, you know, dresses or suits on or whatever. You know, they've been and had the teeth done, turkey and all this. And it's like, they want to feel good. And if that's what makes them feel good, go for it. You know, but don't do it because you think that's what people need. Because, you know, you've got friends and family around you. Just talk to somebody and say, do I really need to do this?
Yeah, and I think, like you say, it's having those people around you. So now I'm with you a lot and we go out and about. You're like my safety comfort blanket in a way, because I know no matter what, we'll be on our own little bubble and have fun.
Yeah.
So we're making a joke, weren't we, the other day about going to sit in kind of Instagrammable places abroad.
Yeah.
And going like, we might do something novel and go and just have fun and have a laugh.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, rather than just posing and stuff, we'll just go and party and just look daft and be daft.
Because I've seen it, obviously, doing what we do and being online. Like I say, some people, they'll pay hundreds of thousands of pounds to fly abroad, to go to some beach club, to sit there and have 30 photos for their Instagram, looking like they're $1 million, and that's what they believe. And that's it, that's an holiday to them. And I'm like, nah, man, you need to get out, pool, have a relax, go for the walk, see local culture, try the food. You know, but again, it's people's different perception of what they want to do in life, innit, and how they want to do it. And if somebody's spending that kind of money going over just to have photos to make them feel good, if that's what makes it right for them,
so
why
be
not?
it. Exactly. And I think it's all about what your aims are. So when you're going out, if you have an aim, like a little target or goal, so like with this, it might be, let's just laugh until we wet our sens. But not a goal to wet myself.
Not really, love. I've never planned to go out and pee myself.
But it might be that you want to go out to see someone you love. You might want to go out and get some fresh air. Just setting yourself little goals each day and just taking one step at a time. Yeah. So I used to have headphones like what I'm wearing for this podcast, big headphones, and I would not go out without them because I had to shut out the world to be able to deal with walking through. So I felt invisible if nobody could see or hear me. So I used to put these headphones on, and I know a lot of people have that with their glasses or the caps.
You used to do it when I got with you, you know. When I first got with you, I noticed that you did certain things just to block out, and like even when people were around, you'd put music on and you'd turn it up so you could block out sound from others, and then you focus on what you're doing. But I want to tell you a story now. So I rated a takeaway. We were on the last night, and I did something different where I rated a takeaway that because it's rate my takeaway, and I've never rated a takeaway where I've been to. So I went to one of my local ones. Now, I stopped filming at this point because obviously I didn't want people to know too much, but I'll let you into a little bit of it. The bloke said to me in the takeaway shop, he says, "Hi, Danny." He says, "Where have you been?" He says, "What has been going on?" He said, "Because I've not seen you for ages, and you know, you used to order every night." And I'm like, "Yeah, mate, I've got myself out of a hole." And he's like, What do you mean?" And I'm like, I got to a point in my life where I just couldn't be bothered to cook, couldn't be bothered for certain parts of self-care within myself. So I just took an easy route, and I'd like get in, I'd cook for kids, and then I'd just order a pizza, order a burger, order a kebab. And I like this place. And he's like, obviously for him, it's a dent in his business. I think that's what he was trying to get at. But when I explained to him that, you know, yeah, I still order, and I order like probably once a fortnight from him now or something like that, instead of, you know, probably 4 or 5 times a week. But it was because before I were in a dark place, and I just needed that bit of help, which you gave me to pull me out of there, and not say to me, "Don't have takeaways," because you've never said that. It's the fact that, you know, we'll cook a meal, or we'll go out for something, and we'll go to a restaurant, which is a lot healthier than what I was having. But it just goes to show that he knew that I used to have, obviously, takeaways all the time from him, but never knew why.
Yeah.
It were all to do with my mental well-being at the time, because I just got no drive. I could not be bothered, and I just wanted to eat and sleep, and that was it. So thank you for that. Aww. And it just brought it back to me yesterday a little bit, the reasons why. You know, and I've lost, like, obviously since meeting you, I've lost a bit of weight, and people are, "Oh, I bet you she's got you on exercise, I bet you're doing this," and it's not, it's just lifestyle.
Yeah.
Lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes what I've done for the better, because sometimes you get yourself into a routine or a way of life, and you don't realise what damage you're doing to yourself physically or mentally, do you?
And I think we were both on the opposite ends of the spectrum when it came to that kind of thing as well, because talking about having comfort blankets, I know a lot of my eating disorders behaviours have stemmed from that. I remember saying once to a therapist, "I just want to be so thin where I'm invisible." Yeah. And that was part of my aim, was to be invisible. And just to be tiny, and that's all I could focus on, because then I could go out and I could face the world if I was invisible. Yeah. And the thing is, you'll never be invisible, and you
not
never
while
should.
You're like this.
No, not whilst I've got prega belly. But it's much more than just weight. It was my feeling of feeling invisible. Yeah. But then since I've met you, people go, "Why are you... Oh, you're jumping on YouTube bandwagon." Well, you don't mind me saying, I started way before you. I'm like a veteran when it comes to YouTube. Yeah. But the difference was I had so much rubbish happen in lockdown that I went quiet and I went into myself.
But the thing is, you've not jumped onto nothing to do with what I do.
Other than you.
We rate my takeaway. This is stuff that we do together, what we enjoy. And it's like this, you know, we've said many a times that we are not professionally trained within mental health, all right? We're not trained to give advice or anything like that. What this is about is us giving you our experiences and how we've dealt with it, coping mechanisms, what we've used. And it's just, I just love the fact that we can do all this together.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. And then the comments that we get back off people, some people like it, some people don't. You know, that's just the way the world is, and that is all about what we do.
And I think that's a good analogy for when you are getting out and about. Yeah, there'll be the odd person who may judge you, and they may judge your pizza shoes or your Transformers top or my big gappy smile, and do you know, but actually way more people need you out there being yourself, just being you, and it's focusing on those people. So when I gave a talk yesterday, that's what I was saying. It is focusing on all those fabulous messages, that love you've got around you, those people who want to see you and you needed in this world, and just forgetting Nora down the road who isn't out and about doing things, isn't pushing herself, forgetting her judgment, because actually it really does not matter.
Do you know what it is? I think the biggest judgment that you face in life is judgment of yourself from yourself. And, you know, I think the biggest demon that you've got is your own mind. Your own mind can sometimes play tricks on you and make you think that things are this way and that way, and they're not. And it's like, I know that, you know, when I first met you, obviously you're pregnant now and you look absolutely stunning and you're just flourishing, and people comment on this all the time, and I think you're absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And when I met you, you know, you were at a decent weight, but you kept saying things like, oh, am I getting fat? And I'm thinking, are you off your napper here? You know, and then you had a profile picture with you in a red dress, and you still use it, and I hate it. I absolutely, and I've told you this, you like it.
Oh no, I think I've changed it all now.
But you liked it, and you thought that is how you should look, and you were really like thin and chiseled, and it's not. That was not the person that I met, if you know what I mean. I'm looking at it and thinking that is completely different. And when I've seen pictures of you when you were ill and you were really, really thin, I'm like, oh my God. You know, if you want to be thin, and that's the look that you want, as long as it doesn't damage your health, then I'm all right with that. But I like you the way that you are, the way that you was. You know what I mean? I think you look beautiful, and that's the thing. Sometimes one person will think that you look great that way, somebody else will think you look great that way, and we shouldn't put as opinions onto people. But it's like, sometimes if it's for the good, so when you said to me, oh yeah, I want to be that thin, I'm like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think you look healthy like that.
Yeah,
and
I wasn't.
You look as vibrant like that. I think you look healthier and happier the way you was when I met you, and how you are now.
Yeah.
Than to what, and it's like me. There's a picture of me and you when we were at the bowling alley, right? And my God, do I look bad. I look like Shrek with a big red head stood over you, like this. And I look at that and I think, do you know what? Yeah, I've lost a bit of weight, and I'm glad that I have. But I don't want to lose any more, because I like to be that big, happy-go-lucky guy. And
I think
that's
the only
me.
thing with me, and it's probably the same with you when you see me looking really thin, when I've seen photos of you, it's when you look ill and poorly that I think, oh no, that I'm so glad that that's changed. Not because it would change how I feel about you, whatever you looked like, but the fact that I want you to be healthy and is to have a long-lasting relationship and life.
Yeah.
And for our kids to be healthy. And so just to see you, that makes me so happy. But like you were saying, we're our worst, like, own self-critics. And we had this thing that we'd say at church. So do you know how you always talk, like, love thy neighbour as you love yourself? Well, we always turned it round, because often we love our neighbour, but we don't love ourselves. So we say, love yourself as you love thy neighbour. So the way you treat other people and that you show love for, show that love to yourself, because you deserve it.
Yeah, and that's what I think. And I spent a lot of time where I go out and I buy a nice T-shirt, and then I buy a nice pair of shoes and that. But then I just go home and sit on the sofa and just well, to be honest, I should have been going out, socialising, going out and meeting people and doing stuff, but I want, and so it were all pointless. Stuff I were getting were pointless because it was just hung up in a wardrobe doing now, and then now I'm stuck with you. I'm kidding. But yeah, so I think, we'll bring it to a close this week, and it's been nice to talk about it. I hope that, me and Sophie shared some stuff there that people can relate to, that you can look at and think, do you know what, I've been there. And if you struggle, there's plenty of people out there. You've got Mind, you've got Samaritans, and there's loads of charities that can help. Just pick up the phone and talk to people. Don't sit there alone.
Yeah, and even comment, if you're watching this, comment with your goals. Do make a commitment. I'm going to go on a 5-minute walk a day, or I'm going to do something each day that's realistic and that you can build up on. Because honestly, it'll do you the world of good. But if you do need help to make those first steps, don't be afraid to seek it. Because honestly, you're not alone in this. So thank you so much for listening, taking part, commenting. We really appreciate it. And we will see you next week when the wedding stuff.
We will be Mr. and Mrs. for proper. All right. And do you know what? I reckon next week's Mental Health podcast could possibly be... because we're going to have to record it before. In fact, no, we won't be Mr. and Mrs., will we? Because we're going to have to record it before we get married. So it'll be the one after. So we might talk about nerves.
Yeah, because I do feel butterflies in my belly.
Get in there, innit? So, right, guys. Well, peace, love, shimmies.
See you soon, guys.
See you soon, guys.